was brought to you by the same team that produced the Fast and Furious franchise, Neil H. Moritz and Vin Diesel. It was directed by David S.F. Lawson in his film directorial debut, and it stars Vin Diesel, Eliza Gonzalez, and Guy Pearce. Bloodshot tells the story of a Marine, played by Vin Diesel, who, after he and his wife are murdered, Vin's character is brought back to life by an organization with the help of nanotechnology that gives him superhuman strength. He then decides to go after the people who are responsible for what happened to him and his wife. If the premise of this film sounds familiar, it is. We've seen it done before. We've seen it done before with RoboCop. We've seen it done before with Universal Soldier. This film, Bloodshot, takes its inspiration from RoboCop. RoboCop was released in 1987, and a comic book company that made Bloodshot, Valiant, was actually formed in 1990. So they're a relatively young company. And if we just get to the point, I can honestly say that Bloodshot is an adequate but forgettable watch. The difference between this film and its predecessors, Universal Soldier and RoboCop, those films were better directed, better acted, had better plots, better action sequences, and more importantly, you had more entertaining and charismatic characters. Bloodshot doesn't have this. The plot is all over the place. The directing isn't that great. And again, because this is a directorial debut, I think that might have some impact on it. And also, the writing wasn't that great. The film starts off promising, but then it derives itself into RoboCop territory, which we have been in before. And there were certain scenes in the film that were just unexplained. And for those of us who are not familiar with the comic book of which this film is based upon, it would have been good if certain scenes would have been elaborated on further. I.e., when Vin Diesel's character decides to go after the people who are responsible for causing him harm, he then starts to access technology and data banks of numerous government organizations. How the hell was he able to do that? It wasn't explained. And again, for those of us who are not familiar with the comic book, it would have been good for us to give an explanation as to how he was able to do that. And the pacing of this film is all over the place. It feels frantic, and there is no cohesion in this film. It almost feels like a Tony Scott film, just because of its pace. But the difference between the late Tony Scott's directing and this film is the fact that Tony Scott was a better director and his films were more cohesive. The visual effects and action sequences in this film felt stale. The finale sequence was so reminiscent to me of Spider-Man 3. In the opening sequence where Peter Parker is battling Harry Osborn. And the visual effects in that film almost looked identical. And I'm surprised because David S.F. Lawson started off in the visual effects realm. And you would think that 13 years after Spider-Man 3, we would have had better visual effects, but we didn't. And this film feels like it should have been released in 2003 as opposed to now. This film was filmed in South Africa, but there was one scene where they tried to pass it off as London, and I was like, that ain't no London. Come on now, you filmed Fast and Furious 6 in London. Film it in London, give us some London locations. Performance-wise, Vin Diesel is pretty much the same in every film. I can't say that he's different in this film than any other. One of the redeeming factors in this film was Guy Pearce, who plays the villain. I thought he was very, very entertaining. He delivered the lines perfectly with menace, and also his one-liners and delivery to his cohort was really, really good. And I thought that, you know what, Guy Pearce has come a very, very long way from his days when he was in Neighbours in the early 80s. I'm showing my age. And he's built up an impressive filmography. LA Confidential, Iron Man 3, Memento. But on the whole, there is nothing really much to like about this film. It's quite forgettable. So I will give Bloodshot 4 out of 10. Now, I had to tweak this review a little bit because I was going to say in my opening sequence that this was the first of 2 Vin Diesel films that are going to come out this year. The second one being Fast and Furious 9, which has now been pushed back to next year because of the coronavirus. And a lot of films have been pushed back, but I'm not going to let that stop me. I have more reviews coming. Old school films. Films that I've watched that I admire, that I just want to talk about. I never had the opportunity to talk about. So this channel will still remain active. I will not let this thing defeat me or stop me, and I hope it doesn't stop you as well. So you guys stay safe, Subscribe to this channel. Hit a like for this video. Hit the alarm bell so you can get notifications from me when my next video is going to be coming out. Leave your comment with what is your favourite Vin Diesel film thus far, and I shall see you on the next film review. Take care.